We're back. It's basement. At the moment, we have quiet and we can talk about Antoine's experience in school with was it one of your first coaches?
Yeah. I have the rare privilege of being coached from the beginning, especially during my time, about when I started 9 years ago. Two of the truck stop players, Frankie and Cantor, helped coach the JV guys, and they saw my potential, and yeah, I got a lot of love from them. And that was really the key for me running with the sport, because in football and basketball, not really in track, but basically when I dropped a pass or made a bonehead play, I would hear about it next week. And with Frisbee, as most people know, like you throw that turnover or you drop that disc, you got to flip the switch and go play defense.
Exactly. It's always interesting about Ultimate is that you can go from hero to goat to hero to goat in one point. Mm-hmm. So you might drop it, but you never know. You may end up making the sick catch that makes the score, depending on how long the point is. So that's really good. So was there a particular coach growing up that helped you groom to get to the level that you are?
Yeah, definitely. Will Smolinski, previous coach of the DC Current, and he coached the varsity high school team, and he has just incredible intelligence about the game and incredible patience. And he is one of those coaches, like if he said you tied your shoes correctly that day, you would be over the hills for a whole week. Wow. Because he gave little positive comments, but he never gave a negative comment.
That's great.
Yeah.
So that's very unusual to have a high school coach end up being a pro coach.
Mm-hmm. Yes. If you were around him, you saw the intelligence he had for the game. And he went from high school, and I believe he coached truck stop for a year or two. And anyone in the community, just talk to him for 5 minutes, he's a high-level coach.
Very cool. Awesome. And so you played well. Mm-hmm. That's an understatement, at Vodtech.
Yeah.
And now you were on the precipice of making nationals, mm-hmm. and you end up going pro and then up on the West Coast. Mm-hmm. But your burn, make the nationals this year. How did that make you feel? You say you weren't surprised because you saw what was happening with the new people coming up, but what was your take of the year?
Yeah, we since sophomore year in college, we were on the cusp of going to nationals so many times, just never finished the game to go. And by my fifth year, there was only 3 of us graduating, and most of our starting D-line, offensive line were sophomores. And you could kind of tell when games got tough, they would rely on my friend Nick and I to kind of take us home. But once we left, they were like, all right, time to
step up.
Yeah, time to fill these shoes, and they overfilled them, and they made it a nationals. So.
Well, hopefully it continues. I know they had a sort of a tough day at the office at the championship, but it's baby steps. They made it there. Mm-hmm. I'm sure they're used to it. Maybe they get there. We're just happy to be here. I'm probably not, but I know I know they were happy to go there. Yeah, but I'm sure they wanted to play better. But it's great to hear. So you end up you jump to Ambiguous Gray. Mm-hmm. Tell me about that team. I thought I read that mission. Let me just read that one mission. I thought it was very funny because I love it as goes. So. Honor your commitments to your team, attend practice, track workouts and tournaments, work hard, no BS, no drama, have fun, win. And that's great. It's to the point. And how was that culture there?
It's great, honestly. So throughout my sports career, I was pretty much all business when it comes to competition, practice, workouts, I've come to win. There's nothing else but winning, and but ambiguously gray. So we win, but we're gonna have a lot of fun doing it. And they increased my love for the game by threefold. Just because, we are a dominant team, and especially when we take off the cleats, we have a lot of fun.
Very good, very good. So, but you won a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we
so
did.
It's nice to be able to match that level of fun with ball and hard. And that was a mixed team, was it not?
Yeah.
And that's so the jump from mixed has been monogender. How was that experience going from mixed?
So throughout my career, I always thought I was underrated, and I know that, well, in my eyes, I see the athletes at the open division, so that's why I made the switch to from mixed to open, just to say like I was an effective player on both divisions. So
very nice. And so you do so. When did the balancing act go? When you were in college, you were playing club, or out of college you jumped to club and then you started balancing?
When I first started, I was pretty much like an emergency hire for the DC Breeze. They lost their big man due to injury, and some of my AG teammates played on that team, and they gave me a call. Actually, I was taking a hiatus from Frisbee that semester. Just needed ease back, had some family issues. I'm out of shape. I haven't ran in 3 months. I haven't thrown a frisbee in 3 months. They're like, Twan, just come out, just come. And shout out to Jarnell. He was the main one who got me coming. And I came to one practice that week.
Very cool, very nice. How does that work? Like they have you come in and all of a sudden you're traveling to a tournament. Mm-hmm. What the heck's that about? It's like in high school.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you're traveling to a tournament.
Yeah, it's pretty much like. Yeah, like when you go to tournaments or go to anything, it's pretty much like you're in this strange, awesome bubble. Have an ultimate time, basically.
Very good. That's awesome. So you start making your way out. Talk about your journey to the West.
My 5th year, I was figuring out where I wanted to live, and I knew from my experiences at the West Coast and in the Midwest that I wanted to live in those places. So basically applied to jobs only in those places and very select few jobs in the DC area. And luckily enough, I got a call from Stanford, and I came out here. And it's kind of funny. I knew California has great teams. I didn't put 2 and 2 together where Revolver was in the Bay Area, and I couldn't believe it.
When did it dawn on you?
Pretty much the second day. So I got the job from Stanford a day before my graduation, kind of like partied and stuff for graduation, then did some research like that Monday, and looking at like the potential life I could have in the Bay Area and San Francisco. I was like, wait, that rings, that has a ring to it. It's like, oh, Revolver's here.
Yeah, no, it's nice. So how did you, so you actually reached out to one of your connections to make contact to the Revolver. So you had, it wasn't like you ran into somebody at Stanford or throwing pickup going, or you should try for Revolver. You actually had somebody reach out. Yeah. And how did that work out?
Yeah, so Dutchie, who was coaching DC Breeze, and I believe is still coaching the DC Breeze, always said I had great potential. So I reached out to him, said, I know you have connections with Revolver. Could you put me in contact with the coach so I can potentially be a practice player for them? And he said, of course. And he did. Yeah.
And so what came first, you encountering Revolver or Flamethrowers?
A Revolver. So, yeah, basically I think my 3rd week here, when I finally all settled in, I went out to a practice weekend, and one of the practices, and honestly, I was scared out of my mind because there are a lot of my idols are there.
That's a good story.
Bo was there, who was a big reason why I started.
Bo who? Go ahead.
And was a big reason why I started playing the sport and had an interest, because I saw that catch where he jumped over someone, and I was like, wow, athletes play this game. And so I saw him there, I saw Cassie there, I saw Lucas Dahlman, Nate White, the countless big names in this.
They're solid.
In this Revolver team. And you can my first practice weekend, they were kind of worried about me because I looked pissed off, because I was like, I'm on a mission. I need to prove to these guys that I can play with them.
Sure.
So, yeah.
So one of the things you mentioned is that everybody there is used to being the man. And how many people were in the tryout?
Like 40.
40. And they were doing well. But so was there anything that you could put your finger on? And this is for anybody who's watching, who's looking to ascend to any team, Revolver, or get that next level that you're trying to strive for, because I thought it was an interesting story. So was there anything that you did that made you help you stand out amongst the group?
Well, I just know that I'm one of the most athletic people out there, and I just basically just played to my strengths. I know there's Ash and Joy on the team. I don't need to show off my throws, but if there's Ash and Joy there, or Joel, or all those guys. So I know that they like my speed, they like my verticality, and so that's what I displayed.
Verticality, I like that. Yeah, very nice. So when the family of four came over, I wish I got their name, but you were describing your vertical jump, and she said you're essentially jumping over me. So what's your vertical jump? What was it called?
My box jump. I've completed a 62-inch box jump with a 2-step start, and I have about a 34-inch vertical.
Very nice, very good. So you understand that this is a young man at 24, and he's peaking. So there's going to be a lot of interesting highlights that are coming this way. So that's fantastic. So how soon before you got the call did you walking away know you were on the team, or were you in doubt?
Not at all.
They left you hanging.
Yeah. Me and my teammate on the Flamethrower, Sawyer, were trying out together, and we would go to practice there and back, and we would always say, like playing for another team would be pretty fun, because you and I would be on that team, because we're not going to make this team, right? Because you look at the warm up line and everyone is amazing. Like everyone. You would say, I want that person on my team, like without a doubt. And Revolver has that luxury of picking, what kind of team they want to make. Right. So,
very good. So now you make the jump to the Flamethrowers. Now we talked about with Revolver, you play a role. When you get to the Flamethrowers, you have a little bit more versatility. Now, how is that? Are you liking that ability to be able to show off all your skills?
Flamethrowers is I play a role that I'm more used to. I have a bigger role in that team, and they allow me to throw deep. At least they don't get mad when I throw deep, and kind of play more of a throw role. On Revolver, we have just world level players. I mean, six of my teammates are on the world team, and so my job is to run a lot, go deep, and
go ahead and say it,
and patrol the skies.
Patrol the skies. That is awesome. Exactly, patrol the skies. It's one thing when you're talking about somebody that you patrol the skies. Another one is like, damn Skippy, I patrol the skies. So it's very good. So now patrolling the skies, I mean, right now, when you come up with a big play, you D or you pull something down, is your job to sit around and dump it? Or are you supposed to look downfield in a Revolver capacity? It's
pretty much give go. Like I D it, catch it. If I see a thrower, which is basically the whole team, I'll give it to them, and I bust deep.
Very cool. And then how does Yo, Coach Kawaoka, talk to you? I mean, what's his strategy when he talks to you as a Flamethrower? He
has a very loose structure on the Flamethrowers, because it's a very fluid roster. Sadly,
sure.
That he doesn't. We don't truly have set roles. It's just like basically just play to your strength. If he sees something that is not working, he'll chime in, give some couple tweaks here and there, and they always work. And we've been winning games because of it.
Yeah, I like his style. He's very smooth. So last night, I sort of, as a testament to people really understanding or way to defend Antoine is to play him over, what I would say, and don't let him go deep. And are you seeing that more and more? Or was this sort of, it was very evident against the Aviators. Are you seeing it against other competition just letting you go under?
Yeah, since I started making the AUDL top 10, people have been giving me a pretty big cushion, like a 10, 15 yard cushion under. So my idea is to kind of meet them in the deep lane, then either try to fake in or out and try to get a 30-yard under, or take them to the house.
So walk me through that again. So you're reading, and that was one of the things I was looking at, how you're reading the play, and I just kept seeing over and over again. Literally, there were times you were waving because you were so open. And so in the normal flow of things, what are you reading? Are you cutting on a play, or are you cutting on a handler?
I'm cutting on a play, and basically when we basically kind of like a line system, I guess. So when you're next up, my job is to go deep. My first cut is always going deep, and decide whether if the thrower fakes me, that means I'm usually coming in, or faking in, then still going out, or just keep it. If I know that he's not going to stay with me, I'm just going to keep going deep. Yeah.
Right on. Yeah, I was looking at that and wondering. So when people are playing you under, are the Flamethrowers trying to find situations to bust you deep, or you take what they give you?
Yeah, I just take what they give me, and usually, if they're only 5 yards under me, I'm still going deep. If 10 to 15 yards is that kind of decision length, I guess.
So when you mean 5 or 10 yards, is that you from the disc, or is that your defender away from you?
Oh, away from me. So usually if the end zone is that way, they're 5 yards that way. Yep. Over me, but usually, like last game, they were playing 10 to 15 yards over me.
Yeah, I was noticing that. Yeah, I keep saying it, he made himself present, even if it didn't have the opportunities to have the highlights. But yes, it was nice to see that you're throwing on dimes. So, looking over my notes here, and so right now you're a physical therapist, right? No, personal trainer. I was getting my bad. So what's your company name? I know you work for Stanford, but you also have a...
I have a side business called AD Sports Performance. It's on the wayside right now because I'm just trying to focus on my athletic career right now, but pretty much when the season is over, I plan on revamping it and giving it more focus. And it's basically geared toward ultimate players because there's a lack of training information on how to train for ultimate, and I want to give it to the community.
The community definitely needs it. So, based on your knowledge, how has that allowed you to? I mean, you're playing a lot of minutes. You're one of the top 3 in the Flamethrowers in points played. You're leading the team in D points played. You're about to go into the open season with Revolver. How are you? What are you doing to prepare your body and heal your body?
Basically, when my training or the workouts get harder and longer, and I'm putting more poundage on my body, I basically am doing a lot of cold showers to help the recovery process. Doing lots of foam rolling. That's why I chose the career of personal trainer, because I'm around these tools and training mechanisms to keep my body fresh, and so I can perform at a high level.
And how much of that is stress? So there's 3 things. How much is that working on your skill set? How much of that is working on stretching? And how much is that working on strength? And even nutrition. I'm looking at all the facets.
So I would say, I try to lift about 2 to 3 times a week. They're usually about an hour and a half. Now I've upped my conditioning to about 2 to 3 times of doing sprints. I try to do an hour of throwing, and with practice is usually about 3 to 4 hours. That's twice a week. Then with the Flamethrower games, then in between clients, I preach foam rolling to my clients. So I'm usually doing foam rolling with them, so that's basically I do it for every client I have, which is around 6 to 8 per day. I do it 5 minutes, 6 to 8 times. So
very cool.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be a little ignorant. Why are you preaching foam rolling? Why is it? I see people doing foam rollers, and people will be advocates of it, but you're like a big advocate if you're preaching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just from what I've been reading, foam rolling is just shown to be a better recovery tool than kind of your static long stretching, and I even confirmed this with our athletic trainer, who's very Malika, who's very knowledgeable
last night.
About training, and yeah, the studies have shown that foam rolling is superior to static stretching. But the best combination is to foam roll, then do a little bit of static stretching.
That's very interesting. Very cool. So right now, is there, besides foam rolling, any other tips as a personal trainer you can give to any of the young players that are coming up that they should be, besides foam rolling, that they should be aware of? Just in general, most of my clients and people in general just ignore their nutrition. They just eat what's kind of in front of them. Is that wrong?
And the American diet is very meat-based, and we exclude a lot of our fruits and vegetables. And it's plain simple, like just eat a bunch of fruits and vegetables, beans, and whole grain stuff. I call my diet a whole grain, vegetable-based, plant-based diet. And it seems to be helping my performance and my recovery times.
Recovery as well. That's very cool. Let's thank you. I'm going to come back to a couple other things, but I want to talk about, and I'd be remiss to talk about your spike, your technique. I wanted to read something that that came out of an Alter World article, and they were trying to describe it. Antoine's spike and attitude defies description. The closest I can come up with is lighthearted brute force. This is Nathan Jessen from an article he wrote in April 14th. At first, the spike comes across as intimidating. Davis throws the disc at the ground with such strength and attitude. It seems like a ferocious competitor. And then he turns around and he's laughing and smiling like he's having the time of his life. So tell me about the spike, because it's a signature. You're making a point. So what do you mean? Tell me about how it's come about. Has that been your play since you've been out of Virginia?
Pretty much. I've been known to just spike the disc. On that play he's talking about, I actually was I kind of messed up my spike. I just spiked it and almost fell over. And that's why when I turn around, I'm laughing, because I was like, I just made a fool of myself.
It just slid out like it was going under the sofa. But yes, that was funny, yes.
Yeah. So.
Well, I've seen a number of times it's just been like, yeah! So, I mean, you gave a little bit more definition and description of why that spike exists.
Yeah, so a lot of people are kind of off-put with my intensity. I come every game I play, I come to win. I don't mean I play with all the intention to win. I'll do anything that's fair and safe to win the game. And this is a sport too. Like sometimes I do bump people. Sometimes we might talk, but our heart is our racing is close to 90% of our maximum heart rate. You're going to make some irrational things. When I look at it, sometimes I know I need to check myself. But the spirit of the game, from what I've heard from the founders of the sport, is you come to play and win, and you do it with people in mind, but you're there to win. It's a win-lose situation, and you're trying to win.
Very good. And you were also saying that you were really honoring your competition.
Yeah, I mean, they're giving their all, and I'm very excited when I am able to score or make a good throw, because they provide a small window of opportunity for me to do that. And when I do hit it and hit that mark, it's very exciting.
Very much so. Very much. And well, we're excited too. So let's go to your top 10 play. And one of the things I wanted to take away is that the time was winding down, and so why don't you just take me to the play, how that, because I have a question that would take me through how that went down.
So yeah, I believe it was the end of the second quarter.
Yes, 1.5.
I was next to him to cut 4 in the stack, and Canner bust deep. And I saw my guy Hibbert, who is known to also patrol the skies, for the Canadian team, let alone. And I saw him drift off, and when I saw Grant Lindsley throw that disc, I was hoping for it to be more bladey and kind of zip to Canner, but I saw that it came out flat, and we're going upwind, and that's usually going to hang. So once I saw that, I knew they were going to be flat-footed, and I had the opportunity to make a big play.
Yeah, they had settled in, and you came in. And so the question I posed to you was that like, I mean, you knew it was the time was counting down, and you made a last-minute play. They had heroics there. But was that like, what's the big deal? I've made better? Or was it something that you were sort of high-fiving yourself? Oh, yeah, this is Twan being Twan.
I'm always excited to make those kind of plays. I don't know when they're going to come. I don't expect it every game. But I know every once in a while I'm able to shine because that's kind of where I'm a top-tier athlete at.
Very good. And so going into, let's talk a little bit about Revolver, and how do you see that playing out?
I think we have the potential of being one of the greatest club teams to be ever formed. We have, like I said before, we have 6 of the world athletes on our roster.
Yep.
And everywhere you look, there's on our roster, there's no weak point. We just have we have speed, athleticism, height, the throws, the defense, the offense. It's amazing, and our coach constantly and our captains, we have to be humble. Like just because we have that roster doesn't mean we're going to take it. We have to. And Revolver is known to have a target on their back, so whenever they're playing someone, they're going to bring their A game. They're going to give their 110%, and it makes it a rough life for us, but we enjoy it.
That's good to know, because Revolver comes in and they're going to get their 100 because they come with cred. As this gentleman's cred starts to grow, people are going to want to go after him, make a name after Antoine. So you need to give your 100, as you were talking about all the time. You play with a chip on your shoulder, right, and that gives you that edge. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the reason why I play with a chip on my shoulder, especially now, is because I wasn't given the pass to try out for the U23 team, and the reason why that carries a huge chip on my shoulder because I tried out for the U19 team, and I honestly just choked at that tryout. So I didn't have the right to be on that team at all. So I was working long and hard to, try out again for a national level team, and not to be given even a chance really hit me hard, and I've played with a bigger chip on my shoulder now than to make this Revolver team is kind of like, yes, like I'm on a great team.
Very cool, very cool. And so I keep crescendoing, but there's other topics I want to bring up, so just bear with me just a little bit. Kalisto El-Salaam. This is another exciting player in the West Coast. The West Coast has a lot of great team and a lot of great players here, and I noticed that you've crossed paths with this fine gentleman. Mm-hmm. He's having a terrific year. He's having a terrific college as well. So you played him on mixtape, mm-hmm, and he had the upper hand.
Oh yeah.
And then and go ahead.
Yeah. Actually, the first time I met him was on the Fries team on Seattle when we met at Paideia Cup in high school. He had incredible throwing abilities and was just super athletic back then too. And I was amazed. And he led the U19 team that I missed to win a gold. And he has a great profile on him. Mixtape is a top 4 mixed team consistently, especially for the last 3 or 4 years. And he's a big leader on that team. And every time we match up against each other, it's always a good time. He's always coming out on top on the mixed club level. So I was excited when I heard their roster come out and our roster come out for Cascade Cup, because I knew we were going to bump heads. Now,
do you have mutual respect, or are you friends? Or you know of one another?
Oh yeah, we definitely know one of each other, because we matched up against each other so many times.
Yeah, a couple of times, big times during the Cascades Cup.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we're both known for our deep game, and we have at least I have a great joy of when I go deep with him.
Very much so. I saw some satisfaction when you took that one of the last second Ds away from him. So to close out, I wanted to ask you, you're young in your career, and it's evolving, but where is that next evolution for you as a player?
I want to win the AUDL championship. I want to win several club championships. I want to be on the national level team. I want to be recognized as top 7. I know I'm not there, but I can see the path. Yeah. Especially with this Revolver team, the kind of the sport I have around here, and the level of play that's around here. I think if I keep working at it, it might come true.
Absolutely. And what's interesting about the Revolver team is that so many of them off doing other ultimate related tournaments. So you see the path in different routes. And so it's not like you're a trailblazer. The trails are out there to see, and they're great guides. And so you're in rare air, and they're lucky to have you as well, patrolling the skies for them.
Yeah, I'm lucky to be there.
Yeah, it's awesome. So we're going to wrap up now. I really want to thank my guest, Antoine Davis, for taking the time on this beautiful Monday morning. He had a solid game last night, beating the Aviators last night. The Flamethrowers came over the Aviators. And this is lovely. Get to know him, have a conversation, and I hope down the road as I get to know him, because he's like, who is this dude? But as I get to know him, we're able to sit down and chat again about this. I'm pleasured. It's a privilege, an honored privilege. And so next time, Lawrence McKendall for Scooberlicious Ultimate, Flamethrower 3. My guest, Antoine Davis.
Yeah. See you guys later.
Take it easy. Have a good Monday.